been successful.
It was built in 2008.
Yeah,
So this is already 23, 15 years.
15. And I would say that that's been very successful. You know, the last electricity bill I think we had was 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most of the existence of this house, we were paying 1.3. You know,
Before the pandemic,
Yeah.
it was 1,003
Yeah,
because we
1,300.
only have one.
This house, I designed it myself, and it was built by an architect that's the husband of Cynthia's sister.
Brother-in-law.
Husband of Naida, if you know Naida.
Pino,
Yeah.
And then we built it in 2008, and so we've been living there ever since then, 2008. And the design mostly is trying to use natural, what they call natural or green architecture. So it tries to use natural lighting. So the lighting during the day, you know, you can get by with just, today it's kind of dark, but on a sunny day, it's light enough you don't have to turn on the lights. And then there's no air con. But it's cool enough that you don't really suffer very much. And how the cooling works is that, well, Cebu gets a lot of breezes, natural breezes, so the air can come in. And the house is surrounded by these plants which cool the air. And then the hot air can go up. So we provide ways for the hot air to come up. And then, for instance, it'll go up here past the second floor and then up into the third floor there through those grills.
That's the flooring of the third floor.
And then air can pass through like these ventanillas at the upper wall grills, which is what the old Spanish homes had. They have nicer looking grills than these, but it's the same principle.
Para lusot-lusot ang hangin.
And I would say that that's been very successful. You know, the last electricity bill I think we had was 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most of the existence of this house, we were paying 1.3. You know,
Before the pandemic,
Yeah.
it was 1,003
Yeah,
because we
1,300.
only have one
so
rep.
really it was very
But
cheap.
during
We
the
saved a lot of
pandemic,
money.
we have to buy another
We're
rep to stock
we're
on
not.
food.
Yeah, so we bought that second ref. But there's no air con, and the air con is by far the biggest draw of electricity.
Yeah.
And then after air con is the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have compressors. But if you don't have it to run your air con, then your electricity bill goes way down. And so the airflow is important, and then letting the air go up, the hot air go up, and then that's also why the stair is not attached to the wall, so the air can flow up. The air can flow up here, all the way to the top, all the way to the third floor. And then at the top, you'll see if you we can go up to the roof, but there's these revolving roof ventilators at the top, which tend to suck the air out. So that'll suck the hot air out of the ceiling of the third floor. And then the most important thing, I think, is that the roof is white. Yeah, so it'll reflect the sunlight. But if sunlight gets absorbed into a dark color, like our neighboring house behind us here has a chocolate brown covered GI sheeting roof, right? So the light hits that, and then it gets absorbed into that dark color, and then that'll turn to heat, and then half of that heat will radiate into your house, And then you have to get rid of that heat with the aircon or you'll suffer. Right? So that's bad. And then the aircon is also bad because you can suck the hot air, you can suck the heat out of your house, but then you just dump it onto your neighbors. Right? Because your aircon outside will be like a big radiator there, dumping the heat onto there. But if you have a white roof, it just reflects it out back to space. Reflects the sunlight back out to space, right? Everybody is benefited. You're benefited, your neighbors are benefited, the whole city is benefited. If you have trees, everybody's benefited.
And then you tell them about the windows, why this kind of windows.
Well, these jealousy windows.
Than the casement.
Are nice.
Or sliding windows.
Right, these are the kind of old style now, but they can be opened the whole way, right? So when you open them fully, the air will just flow through. But the casement windows, you can only open halfway. Right, the sliding casement windows. So, and then with the grill, these all have these iron grills on them. It's very secure, right? Nobody can come in. They can't pry your window open and come in. Yeah, so I think this is the way to go. It's very secure, and then it lets the cool air in the encasement windows and the firewall heats it up, and so they have to pay a lot, and then they have a house that's too hot.
And then why the glass block?
Well, the glass blocks let the light in. So that's the big advantage. The disadvantage of like that. No, that's advantage. The curve.
That's there's a science also behind why.
Yeah, the curve. Yeah, because that'll shed the. If this was just straight across here, the wind would pile up. Right, so that's designed to be like a little bow.
This will be exposed to the sun.
No, because let's go out. Let's go out.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Let's go out. The curve is mostly. There's two reasons for the curve. One is aesthetic. Right, it's nice. It's very nice. It's nicer to have a curve than a flat. Right? So that's one thing. But the other thing is that it's stronger for when the wind hits it.
Okay, yeah. Because the wind
If this was just flat across here, then the pressure would be more. Right? So then the typhoon is the worst. Yeah, like Odette, right? And so the wind from Odette was just piling right here, but we didn't have any damage, and these windows weren't hurt at all. But I was worried because it was just so strong, and it just got getting worse and worse. But thank God we didn't have any problem with the house.
Then, if the glass box will be exposed to direct sunlight, the sun rays cannot penetrate.
that would be bad. But the overhanging terraces,
the overhang handled it.
blocks it, right? Because when the sun comes just up in the morning, it's going through a lot of atmosphere, about 30 times more atmosphere than at noon, right? So in the early morning, the sun's rays aren't very strong, right? So in the early morning, the sun can go in, but the rays aren't really very hot because it has to go through so much more atmosphere. But past between 8 and 9 o'clock, the sun's rays are blocked. Because the sun will be up here. That's the logic behind the terraces. So the terraces block the direct sunlight, and then it provides a very nice space, you know. what you don't want is the direct sun beating down on your head. You know?
Yeah.
Sa balay po.
But if you're just in the shade, then it's really very pleasant.
Yeah.
Now they know that people need to get near infrared light, right?
When you are under the tree.
Yeah, and the best source of that is underneath a canopy of a tree, because the infrared light, which you can't see, will come through the leaves, right? Because that's not absorbed by the tree. That light will come through. And so underneath a canopy is where it's really the most healthy. So you want to be able to see that light and then have that near infrared light hit you, right? That would be very healthy. So if you spend time right around trees but not in direct sunlight, like in the shade of the tree or shade of like here, it's really very nice and very pleasant.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what we could.
The rainwater.
Oh, okay. So here's another feature which I haven't mentioned yet, is that the rainwater from the roof is collected. Right, comes down these pipes and into this cistern. It's 3.5 meter wide and 2 meters deep. So it holds about 20 cubic meters, right? Which is 20,000 liters. 20,000 liters. That's a huge amount of water.
Where did you use the water?
2 meters.
Where did you use the water?
For washing the plants.
For plants.
So Cebu gets about 1.6 meters of rainfall a year. 1.6 meters, right? And then the roof is about 100 square meters. So in 1 year, this roof will collect about 160 cubic meters of water. Right? So it could fill this 8 times. Right? It could fill this cistern 8 times, right? So that's so much water, you could never use it all. Right? And then the same is true of everyone's house. Right? Everyone's house collects enough water to supply all of their needs except for drinking. Right? All of your needs. Right? Washing, cleaning, watering the plants, flushing the toilets.
Bathing.
Yeah, all of it except for drinking. Right? And most everybody gets their drinking water bottled water, right, from the service. It's not very expensive and you don't drink that much. Right? So that's what everybody should do. Collect their water, and then you'll have so much, and then we won't deplete the groundwater. I mean, we won't even need it. Right? In this subdivision, there was 3 times during the droughts where Santa Lucia couldn't supply us with water, right? So they had to truck it in with tankers. Right? But it's going to get worse, right? The next drought we get, which who knows when that'll be, but maybe next year, the next El Nino we have will be a drought, and a bad one probably. We're going to be right back there, right? So we need to start collecting rainwater. Because God sends it to our house, right to our very roof, and most of the time it just all goes right back out into the ocean. So that's not good.
kining fence gani nga dili siya kanang fence siya nga low siya o makita jud nimo nga nay mga tao nagana niya dili gyud siya walay landing ba ang ubang fence na may landing nga katungtungan sa trail kaya dili ka makatungtong lisod ba
ana bitaw lisod eh.
Yeah, it's hard to climb up.
kaya fence
And then the top is formidable. You don't want to climb over it because you think you might die.
Sa totoo ako, ano to?
nya passive cooling kanang passive cooling kay musudra ang kanang hangin kay abli low man ang mga bintana niya jealousy sad o nya dili siya init kay ang kanang roof na mo puti nasa may roof ventilator so nag-promote man sad akong bana ani painting roof
But it's inspired from very traditional indigenous architecture in Papua New Guinea. They call it one of these long houses.
So there's a real house of that in
Well, it doesn't look exactly really like that.
But
It's
it
made out of
gave him
bamboo. But the shape, the basic shape, yeah, is from that traditional architecture, which they still make there in Papua New Guinea, in the rural areas. Yeah.
Apila nagkaon.
Dadyo ko to, beber magilang ang
May nauna.
Wala naman ko ako surat. Ikapil meron ka nimo ari dire. Nasaan pod ka? Kapit may nagbibi ko Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Good noon.
Emiliano di siya mo to
Adyo ko yung labang.
Good morning.
Di ba gawas pa doon konsolasyon?
Diha ba ni sa gawas?